Hello and welcome to Tom's Football Stories, and today I'm having a look at the National League running. It's getting tight and we're going to see who's looking like to win promotion, who's in the playoff contention and who's in the relegation battle. We're also going to have a quick look at the promotion battles in the National League North and also the National League South. If you have been following my Oldham Athletics vlogs, you know at the moment Barnet are top of the league and are well on course. So anyway, without further ado, let's just have a quick look at the latest league table. As you can see, all but two teams have played 42 games. The teams who haven't played 42 games are Rochdale, who are pushing for the playoffs, and Solihull Moor, who are safe but just want that win to confirm that they won't get dragged into a relegation battle. So as you can see, Barnet are currently top of the league. They're currently 6 points clear of York with 4 games left, and barring some mass screw up, should win the league and promotion back to the EFL. York looks certain to get second place now. Again, Forest Green in third place are assured of third. For them to get second, they would need to make sure York lost every single game. The remaining playoff spots are interesting. My team Oldham currently have fourth place. We're currently on 66 points, but our next games consist of Hartlepool and both York and Forest Green away, followed by Ebbsfleet at home. Despite the chasing pack making some ground, there's still basically 6 points gap between Oldham and Altrincham. And the likelihood is Oldham should be okay to be in the playoffs. Whether or not they make it is a totally different matter. They said currently occupy 5th place. However, they have tough games at home to York, away at Hartlepool, in-form Boston away, and they end with playoff chasing Southend. However, they should get themselves over the line, and unlike last season, they were allowed to take part this year in the playoffs. Rochdale have had plenty of games in hand, but have lost a number of them, including at local rivals Oldham and against Boston. They face Altrincham, an interesting battle on Good Friday, as Altrincham are still chasing the playoffs and are currently 4 points behind Rochdale. They then have Fylde at home, who could already be relegated by them, Hartlepool at home, who are still chasing, Solihull, who look like they'll be safe, and end away at Braintree, who also should be safe. So Rochdale should fancy their chances at getting into the playoffs, but they'll probably even fancy finishing themselves 3rd or 4th. Facts had a bad run of form and haven't won in 6 games. However, they've got a favourable run in start with a game at Fylde, who they could relegate, at home to Altrincham, and it could be a winner takes all if Altrincham are able to beat Rochdale, and they will close the gap to 1 point. They then have Braintree away and Wealdstone. Both are in the relegation, both should be or could even both be safe by then. However, Halifax's current form, I actually fancy them to drop out of the playoffs altogether. Although Halifax is a team, probably all the teams in the playoffs alongside Oldham, other teams would fancy playing and beating at the moment. Altrincham could be the team that causes the most surprise. Like all the other teams in the playoffs, their form is hit and miss at the moment, and they play 3 of the teams currently involved in the playoff chase, starting with Rochdale at home on Good Friday, Halifax away on Easter Monday, then face Dagenham away, a Dagenham who could already be relegated or could still be fighting for their lives, and they end at home to Tamworth, which could even be a winner-takes-all game before getting into the playoffs. As it stands, they have goals in Linney, and his recent suspension cost them dearly. I think Altrincham will miss out and not make that final playoff spot. Southend are a team that are currently just outside the playoff places. They had a defeat to Solihull last weekend, which was a shock as they've been on a good run of form, including a win against my team Oldham recently. They are 4 points outside of the playoff spot and have a favourable run in. They start with Essex Derby at home to Braintree on Good Friday, which they should be winning. Then have a game away already relegated Ebbsfleet on Bank Holiday Monday, and against Wealdstone. Again, whether Wealdstone are safe or not is a totally different matter. And they end away at Gateshead again, which could be a winner-takes-all game. But on that run of form, I expect Southend to get in and take the final playoff place. Tamworth have done the best of all the teams promoted this season and are currently on a fantastic run of form. Despite a defeat recently to Maidenhead, they're winning games, scoring goals and keeping clean sheets. They've firmly now established themselves in the National League and got over their early season hoodoo. However, whether or not they go up will be a totally different scenario. They end away at Altrincham, which could be a winner-takes-all game. Before that though, they have an Old Birmingham derby against Solihull Moors. They then have an away game against Forest Green before playing Fylde, who could already be relegated, and end away at Altrincham. They'll be desperately hoping that there is something to play for away at Altrincham. And to be fair, at the moment, I think the Forest Green could be a tough one. However, I think they just about may miss out on it, although it's been a fantastic season for the Lambs. And finally, we've got Hartlepool, but looking at Hartlepool's running, I generally don't see them getting in. They would need results to massively swing in their favour, but they could easily finish above one of the chasing 3 teams. The relegation running is quite different. Ipswich are already relegated. If Fylde lose on Good Friday, they too could already be relegated away at Halifax, which leads it to Maidenhead and Dagenham, who are both currently find themselves 5 points each behind Wealdstone and Boston. Boston and Wealdstone both play each other on Good Friday, so I'm sure the rest of the chase will either want them both to draw, so neither of them make significant grounds on them. Braintree on 51 points should be safe, as should Solihull, Woking above and Aldershot. But this is football and anything can happen. Teams around them are in a mini league. I'm going to not include Fylde, as I genuinely believe they're down now. It would take an exceptional miracle for them to survive, a team that I thought after they finished the season strong last year will do well. Dagenham have Ipswich at home on Friday, who are already relegated but have started to pick up results. Now they've got nothing to play for. They've had ownership issues and it's still going on this week. They then have an Essex derby away at Braintree, who've already beaten them early this season. Then they have Altrincham, who are still in the playoff chase, and Solihull Moors away. Maidenhead have Woking, who aren't necessarily safe but should be safe. They then face Wealdstone, who are currently 2 places above them on Easter Monday. Already relegated Ipswich, and they end away at another struggling side, Boston, who could easily be safe by then, or it could come down again to a winner-takes-all game. However, going away to Boston, the last thing Maidenhead would need is in that scenario where Boston may only need a point. Wealdstone face Boston, as I already said, on Good Friday. Maidenhead on Easter Monday, so it's a big weekend for them. Wealdstone survived courtesy of beating Oldham Athletic last season on the last day of the season. They also face Southend away and Halifax at home in their final 2 games, with both of them in a playoff push. I do think though Wealdstone should be okay. Boston, who have been a form team recently, start off with Wealdstone on Good Friday. Even by winning that should be enough to secure their National League status another year. They then face Solihull Moors, who are currently just 2 points ahead of them but should be safe. Then they have Gateshead at home and Maidenhead away. I do believe currently that the 4 teams currently in the bottom 4, Ipswich, Fylde, Maidenhead, Dagenham and Redbridge, will be the 4 teams that get relegated out of the National League. Now I'm going to look at the National League North, so here's a quick glance at the top half of the table. The National League North is currently a 3-horse race, with Scunthorpe leading in 84 points, Kidderminster 83 and Brackley 83. Brackley missed out in the playoffs last season. As it stands, the top 3 don't have to play each other, but Scunthorpe and Kidderminster do face playoff chasing Hereford. I think Scunthorpe will just about have enough to get themselves over the line. Chester currently occupy 4th place and should be alright for getting into the playoffs, while Chorley, Hereford and Kings Lynn are all on 73. Curzon and Buxton lead the chasing pack. Spennymoor and Darlington though have probably got too much catching up to do. And the likelihood is, I think the current top 7 in the National League North will be the 7 teams that get themselves into the playoffs. The League South race is a very, very tight race at the moment. Turlough and Worthing both lead the way, both on 83 points, but on Good Friday today, Turlough face 4th place Torquay and Worthing place 2nd face 3rd place Eastbourne Borough, in basically a game that could decide who goes up and who doesn't. As it stands for the playoffs, it's basically going to be 7 from 8 teams. The top 5 should all make the playoffs, but then again, Maidstone on 74 points in 8th place will have the Ryan West and Supermare, who still have to play 2 of the sides currently in the promotion push above them. Their last 2 games are Turlough and Eastbourne Borough, with Maidstone ready to pounce. Bournemouth will probably not likely win the league but should be in the playoffs. Dorking still have a chance but are 4 points behind Turlough. A controversial decision the other day saw a player sent off and then cost a late goal against Bath, meaning they are now 4 points behind Turlough and Worthing. For me, the way I'm looking at it now, it is between Turlough and Worthing. And on the back of them losing last season in the playoff final, I think Worthing will just about pick Turlough and get themselves over the line. Either way, it's been a very entertaining race, and to call a playoff winner from these teams, It's going to be a very, very hard call. And that concludes this preview of the National League, National League North and the National League South types running. Let's see who gets over the line and who doesn't. Tommy Oldmere, see you on the terraces. Come on, Oldham.